to pay attention to what Alan's going to talk to you all about tonight. So Alan, welcome to the podcast, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, man, thanks for agreeing to be on, man. And when you think about putting, Alan, of course that's really important. It's an important part of your game. And in a few minutes, I'm gonna let you talk to us about how important it is. But man, before we get started, man, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the game of golf.
Okay. Well, so I'm 46 years old. I started playing golf when I was 8. My grandfather was a teaching pro, so I kind of came out the gate with I didn't pick up many bad habits right off the start. My grandfather had me out there helping him teach. I would pick up the golf balls. In between lessons, I was hitting golf balls. Whenever there was a golf tournament at that golf course, I played in it. I won my first tournament when I was 10. I played in AJGA. There's a inner city youth organization called Hollywood Golf. Selena Johnson, I was in that. Probably like maybe the second or third group of kids to even go through it, and she's still doing it to this day.
Wow.
I went on from there, played in high school, went to Alabama State on a golf scholarship, went to Warner Southern in Florida on a golf scholarship. Then I tried my hand in the mini tour scene in Florida. Had a sponsor for like 6 months, and I did that. And then came back to Michigan. That's where I'm at now, Detroit, Michigan. Okay. And still play competitively pretty often. My season just pretty much wrapped up a little while ago. And at the end of the season, I made it to the U.S. amateur golf team. So it's like 6 of us. I'm in the first flight, which is like scratched to 4.9. And we go to Dubai. This year it's in Dubai, and they play against, all the other countries. We get a whole bunch of USA stuff. I noticed your golf bag.
Oh, yeah. You see it?
Too. I think we get a golf bag a lot like that, like a USA staff bag. It's pretty nice.
Nice.
So, yeah, I've been submersed in it.
Okay, good. Well, listen, man, you've invented an incredible product called the Neuraputt. And, I've been following you for about the last couple of years, and we're getting ready to get little John on the system. But talk to us a little bit about the system that you have, and talk to us about why putting is such a critical part of your game.
Okay, I'd love to. So if you have to like break from the normal tradition of thinking about how you practice golf, because one thing that a lot of people don't even think about, it's blatantly obvious, but a lot of people don't think about it, but it's not really hand-eye coordination, because we don't look at the target anymore. After we line up for it, we're actually looking at the ground.
Right.
And so it's a whole different, you can't practice the normal way that you might think that you should. You can't go out there and hit putts or hit tee shots and then think it's going to work on a golf course, because you're going to be out there and you're going to feel like detached. So what I realized was that when I look away from the ball, when I look away from the target,
mm-hmm.
if I have a blurry image of where my mark was, or what blade of grass, then I'm putting in doubt, and the confidence isn't. If the confidence isn't there, now your stroke is going to be wavering, and now you don't trust your stroke. And next thing you know, like we've all played in scrambles,
right?
And you've watched. If you're the anchor guy, so you got to sit there and you watched all 3 people in front of you miss that putt. You know exactly where your mark is. You know exactly what you got to do, and you missed the putt anyway. It's because you missed your mark. You might, and that's where the issue is. Like, it's just a real undeveloped concept of, like, the whole point of the Neuraputt is for you to realize the importance of locking in that target in your head vividly, in detail, exactly where it is, so that you open your eyes back up, you're looking exactly where you thought you were. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so the way I developed the product is based on trying to help myself recall where I'm aiming at.
Okay.
And then and not only recall where I'm aiming, but also be able to stroke to that, that point in the middle of the darkness.
Right.
At that point, because that's the challenge. Once you look away from that ball, once you look away from your target, it's up to you in your mind to be in sync. And so that's how the product developed. So if you're not familiar with it, the way it works is it's you actually, it's kind of like putting a field goal over the cup.
Gotcha.
So you got field goal is shaped like that. And that's how the Neuraputt works. It's like kind of like if you were to put two tees in front of the cup,
mm-hmm.
and now your target isn't the cup anymore. Now your target is that gap between the two tees.
Gotcha.
And so now when I'm out on the golf course, I'm imagining that field goal everywhere I'm looking.
Gotcha.
I'm not thinking about, I don't see blades of grass, because I've practiced enough with that Neuraputt. So now, it's almost like having crosshairs. When you look in a rifle, it's
right.
almost like having crosshairs wherever I look. Because that's the other thing. Once you look, if you're looking at a blade of grass, and once you look away, that's a blade of grass. You know what I mean? Like, that's not very tangible.
Right.
There's, you know what I mean? It can just get lost in the mix, especially when you play in the country club and those things look like they're just painted over with paint. It's hard to find anything to aim at.
Yeah.
So, and then, like I said, then you got the field goals, and then I take it a step further, and I have 3 different size
targets.
Bumpers.
Yes.
They go over the field goals, and the bumpers make the field goals fatter and fatter and fatter, which makes that space narrower and narrower and narrower to the point where that space is the width of a golf ball, because that's what you need to be. That's what your target is. Something that's the width of the golf ball. And really, I think the product picked up really well. And one of the things that I started hearing right off the bat was that golfers started making their reviews or their comments to me would be like, yeah, I made way more 6-footers than I ever did before.
Wow. Gotcha.
And 6-foot putts, that's like, I think it's like a 50 something, 60% chance.
Right.
For the average golfer, and even for the professional golfer, it's still like in the 70s. It's not that much of a difference.
Right.
But then you get down to 2 feet, and now we're all making like 99% of them. Why are we missing so many more from further out? Maybe it's because 2 feet, it's still within our peripheral vision. So that's hand-eye coordination.
Gotcha.
Once you get outside of peripheral vision, now it's based on your memory. And that's why it's called a Neuraputt, because it trains you to be able to hold that target better. Right.
In the mind per se.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And so when we talk about putting, Alan, what percentage of a score, what percentage is related to putting, would you say?
Oh, so that's going to depend on the golfer, because if you're shooting 100, then, it's kind of, but you can look at it this way. If you were to 2-putt every hole that you played, you're gonna have 36 putts.
Correct.
And if you have 36 putts and you're trying to shoot par, that means you only have 36 more strokes out there for you to par 18 holes.
Correct.
So simple math would mean that you'd have to get on every single green in 2 strokes or less.
Yeah.
And make the putt. And that's not going to happen, because you got to get up. There's going to be situations where you got to get up and down. There's going to be situations where you have to lag the putt. So to answer your question, I would say that you're going to spend close to 40% of your strokes on the putting green.
Wow. And that's all, that's almost half.
Say that again?
That's almost half.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's almost, and that's for, so a professional, the tour pro average putting, the tour average golfer is going to have right around 28, 29 putts per round.
Gotcha.
The single digit handicap golfer is going to have somewhere between like 30 and 32, 33 putts per round. And then if you're a 10 plus handicap, or right around 10 handicap, you're probably going to be, like I was saying, right around 34, 36 punts per round. So if you think about what I just said, that's really what, 5 strokes difference between a tour and pro to a 10 handicap.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you lose. You can make up a lot of ground and lose a lot of ground on the putting green.
Gotcha. And what are some of the drills that you found that really works with the Neuraputt the best, Alan?
So what I like to do, especially when I'm like giving somebody some instructions or I'm coaching,
right?
I like to start them real close to the hole.
Okay.
Like gimme range, because we all know even gimmies can get funky when the money's on the line, or you know,
gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A 2-foot putt can feel like the hole's like tiny.
Yeah.
So, but it shouldn't.
No.
You know, it shouldn't. Like a gimme is a gimme. But that's where I start. Like I'm like, I have this theory. My grandfather had this theory growing up. He was like, if you can't shoot under par from the red tees, you got no business moving back.
Wow.
I don't care how old you are. I don't care, grown, kid, whatever. Don't go back until you can dominate from the front tees.
Makes sense.
Same thing with the putting green. If you can't make 10 out of 10 gimme putts, then why are you practicing 10-footers and 15-footers?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where, it's as funny as it sounds, that's where I start. I start with 2 and 3 footers. I want you to just nail them. I want you, and here's the thing. You have to go through your entire pre-stroke or pre-shot routine for every single putt. I don't care if it's a gimme. I don't care if it's a 30, 40 footer. Whatever your routine is, you got to go through it. It needs to be, that's your bread and butter.
Right.
That's your bread and butter. That's going to put you in a place where all the doubt and the yips and all that, that's gone.
Gotcha.
And so, and that's the thing that I really, if I was going to leave anybody with a gem, it's going to be to, when you're practicing putting, go through your entire pre-shot routine for every putt. I don't care how close you are.
That's good. And so that's really good about, you know, the pre-shot routine, because I think, you know, sometimes when you get out of sync, when you do something different, sometimes that could cause you to miss a putt, you know, if you don't go through your pre-shot routine. But let me ask you this, Alan, how important is lag putting? You know, when you think about putting, you know, lag putting is good too. If, you know, you may not be within 10, 15 feet of the cup. How important is lag putting?
I think lag putting is one of those things that is like a secret weapon.
Gotcha.
You know, like you need to have it figured out. You need to have, I've seen people try to develop lag putting by pacing it off, and they figure out how far back the stroke should go for this many feet. The bottom line is you have to be able to lag putt with confidence and a little bit of recklessness. But the biggest thing is you got to watch out for. I have to like walk you through it for you to see what I'm about to say.
Okay.
So when the putt is really far away,
right, you
might not have the same tight stroke that you would from 15 feet. Your body might sway.
Mm-hmm.
You might put a little, you know, your stroke might be, you know, inside out, like all kind of stuff can change because you're hitting it further. So if you're going to practice lag putting, the first thing you got to make sure you do is you keep that same stroke, that same mechanics that you were doing from 10 feet.
Gotcha.
Because next thing you know, when you're doing this lag putt,
mm-hmm.
now you're missing your mark by a foot. You don't know why. You know, and then that's the worst thing you want to do is see your ball roll up perfect distance 8 feet right of the cup. Like probably because you took that backstroke and you muscled it out there and you totally got outside of your sink and pushed it, but it's a 50-foot putt. You're not thinking about it, but now you're 3-putting.
Right.
But so like I said, I'm trying to give gems. I'm saying so that if you're going to practice lag putting, you know, obviously you want to start close and work your way back. back. With the Neuraputt, I have it's a drill that I use with the Neuraputt because the Neuraputt uses rubber bands also.
Yeah, talk to us about the drills. Yes.
Okay, so what I do with the Neuraputt is I find the target, I set the Neuraputt in the green, I put the rubber bands on the front two posts, which is what I was saying, like the field goal. I put the rubber band there, and I volley off that rubber band, and I step further and further back, and instead of worrying about anything else, I just look at that rubber band like it's a backboard, and I just want to make my ball contact with it.
Right.
Take another couple of steps back, just make contact with it. If I miss it, that's fine, as long as the ball ends up within 3 feet of the cup. Like, just imagine a circle around the cup.
Right.
I just go further and further back. My whole point is just to roll it to that rubber band. Roll it to the rubber band.
And you know what I'm hearing too, Alan, when you talk about hitting it to the rubber band, that helps you from that. Doesn't that help you from leaving putts short as well?
Yes, exactly. Because if you hit the rubber band, then you obviously had enough pace to get to the cup.
Right.
If you hit the rubber band super hard, and you probably would have. But really, hitting it super hard isn't going to happen if you start close and you work your way back.
Right.
Because just as I don't know what it is, but there's like a psychological thing that we all have where we don't want the ball to roll past the cup.
Correct.
So ideally you want to go 18 inches past the cup. That's kind of hard to do when you're 50 feet away.
Right.
But just to be able to creep up and hit the rubber band is the idea. And just to maintain that same putting setup, the same mechanics that you were doing from 5-6 feet away. It's the same thing. You just want to put a little bit more juice on it when you're further away. And what you're going to find out is that lag putting, you're going to start feeling like you're going to start seeing your lag putts like damn near going to almost going to cup.
Right.
Maybe lipping out, but you're okay with that because as long as you can walk up and tap it in.
Right.
That's saving par. That's better than hitting a drive down the fairway.
You're right. You're so right.
Like literally, it's better.
Right. So Alan, let me ask you this: we have a lot of junior players that are aspiring to go to college. Maybe one day getting on the tour. If knowing what you know now, being a pretty good golfer, shooting in the 60s several times. And several times a year, knowing what you know now, what's the best recommendation that you would give our juniors as it relates to putting?
Okay, it's actually pretty easy because what I've noticed, and we were kind of touching on this before we started here. I noticed that I kind of feel like all really good golfers all follow. We all end up going we all end up attacking the same issues in our games at the same points in our games.
Right.
Like there's gonna come a time when you're gonna start looking for audiobooks on controlling your emotions.
Right.
There's gonna be a time when you start worrying more about course management than how far you can hit it. There's gonna be a time when you're more impressed with being able to hit a 60-yard shot and a 63-yard shot on the money versus what your score is. When I go out and play golf, if I blow up and I shoot an 80, I might not be all that mad about it if I was hitting all my spots. If I did what I wanted to do, if I didn't get frustrated, because maybe that's the thing that I was working on, is not getting frustrated. A lot. So yeah. One of the things I would suggest to beginner golfers or to junior golfers is to have the mindset of every time you go out and play, you should have you got to have two gears. Are you out here to practice, or are you out here to play? You can't do both. You can't be joshing with your boys and shoot a 73 and think you're going to go play in a golf tournament the next day and shoot the same score when it's, everybody's quiet like you're in church.
Yeah.
So you have, what I mean? So you have to treat golf, when you go out and play, you have to make your mind up. Is today going to be for real, or is today going to be practice? And you can't mingle, You can't be hitting mulligans and all that. If that makes sense.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And then the other thing is, make up games that challenge yourself. Like make up games that challenge yourself. Like only you know where your weak points are. Right. And you have to isolate those weak points and then look at them like, okay, I have an issue with, let's say I have an issue with, starting out my round with a double bogey or something.
Right.
Okay. Like, I'm one of these people that once I get rolling, I'm doing good. But man, if I wouldn't have got started out with that double, I would have shot even par today.
Right.
So this was the thing. My coach used to do this for whenever the players on our team would, have a bad first round, first hole. He would say, okay, so practice today, AJ. After 3 holes, you're done. Walk back in. I'm like, what? I want to play. Like, no, like I just want to see you come out firing.
Right.
The last couple rounds you were playing, you start out, you got it all together and you picked up, made up for it on the back nine. But like, I'm tired of seeing you come out the gate with these, these bad drives and, you're all shaky. Like, so everybody else got to play 18. I'm walking back in after 3. Right. But what it did is it made me realize like it's game on. As soon as you start, as soon as you walk out on the golf course, you have punched the clock and you're on the job.
Right.
So, and that was that particular aspect that I had to figure out. And once I figured it out, that, that drill I just said, I don't do it anymore. Like I'm good. I come out, it fixed me for life. Little stuff like that. You have to realize where your weak points are and then figure out a way how to annihilate them.
Gotcha.
Own them.
From the jump, right?
From the jump.
So Alan, I noticed also on the Neuraputt, and I'm gonna allow you to kind of tell everybody how to get in touch with you, how to follow you on social media, how to order your product. But I noticed also with the Neuraputt, because I went to YouTube and I saw some of the videos, so I can make sure that when we start using it, we can use it right. But with the Neuraputt, I noticed also you can actually set up like 3 different bumpers, so like multiple people can practice at the same time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because basically there's 4 posts.
Okay.
And they're all equidistant. So you're essentially dividing the cup into 4 sides, 4 even sides.
Okay.
Just imagine an equilateral square sitting in the middle of a circle.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 4 sides. Now you could have 4 different players attacking that cup from all 4 sides.
Right. And
you take away the rubber bands, and now your ball is just going to coast right through to the other side because, there's that whole bridge thing. Mm-hmm. It's hard to explain about how it works without showing you one.
Right.
I just happen to have one.
Okay.
So here's the device.
Gotcha.
So you would put this directly over the cup.
Okay.
And when you put your ball down the middle of the cup, it would just essentially roll right down the middle.
Through the cup, right.
Right. Now the bumpers go over these,
mm-hmm.
and the bumpers are 3 different sizes, skinny, medium, and large. And it just makes that space down the middle smaller and smaller.
Okay.
So just because somebody's coming this way, another golfer can be coming this way.
Right.
And obviously on this end coming this way, you coming this way, it divides up into 4 sides.
Gotcha.
And this space, even without the bumpers, this space is inside the width of the cup.
Okay.
So just hitting these at all would have put you in the cup. But one of the things that I noticed when we all go out and practice on the putting green, mm-hmm. you're not really thinking about where your ball went in the cup. You're just happy that it went in the cup.
Exactly. It could go on the left-hand side, the right-hand
side. As long as it didn't lip out, you're not really thinking twice about it.
Right.
But the cup is 4.5 inches wide. If you're putting 10 feet, you got a break and putt, and you miss your mark by an inch, you're gonna miss the cup.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So you need to be hitting. If you're not gonna buy the Neuraputt, it's fine. But when you're out here putting at these putting greens, if you're not making it dead center or exactly where you're trying to hit it in that cup, then you're not practicing.
Gotcha.
Or you're not practicing, for results.
Right. That's good. And they say perfect practice makes perfect, or something along those lines.
Perfect practice makes perfect. Exactly. I mean, it all boils down to muscle memory, and it all boils down to you being able to have a putting stroke that you can count on, that you can repeat, and that doesn't change based on how far away you are. What I was addressing earlier about, if you're further away, are you like putting it like it's a chip,
Good deal. So Alan, how can everybody catch up with you on social media and order your product? Okay,
so it's called Neuraputt, Neuraputt. And I'm on all the platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it.
YouTube
even. Yep, exactly. The website is www.neuraputt.com.
Okay.
And my name is Alan Johnson. I'm out here. I'm my own brand ambassador. It's it's kind of like Biggie Smalls. Like I'm not only a client, but I'm also. How does it go?
That's the player president.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm totally. I wouldn't even be pushing it like I am if I haven't seen the results. I have friends that shot in the 60s for the first time after using it. Like it's no joke. It's no joke.
That's good.
And and really what I just want to, it's for the Black community. I really feel like it's gonna do its thing. It's gonna get there.
Yeah.
But I really want the Black community to know about it first, and I want people to, because once you have it, you're gonna start putting better. It's as simple as that. I have a 100% money back guarantee, and I haven't had anybody ever, not once, ask for the money back.
That's good. And man, we appreciate you coming out to Juneteenth and supporting that event for Texas Southern University. Great demonstration on the greens, and so we really appreciate you coming out and doing that. So what I want to do right now, Alan, is open up the lines. We got a couple of live guests on, and I just wanted to see if anybody had any questions as it relates to the Neuraputt product, or any putting questions that they may have. All right, any questions? Sean, Chris, any questions?